Hey everyone, welcome back. It is time for another wrestling review. Last night we had Putty with us reviewing Night of Champions. If you haven't seen it, link will be in the description. Go watch that right now, and then come back and watch this, our review of Impact's Under Siege, taking place from London, Ontario, Canada.
Yeah.
They're really loving coming to Canada.
Well, because I'm sure they sell out right in those
Yeah.
little small markets. Also subscribe to this channel. But yeah, London,
Yes,
Ontario.
please. London, Ontario. Shout out to London. So we're gonna get into this. Did you catch the pre-show?
Yes.
Okay, so you saw the Death Dolls against the Coven.
Yes. And
Okay,
I'm so confused about the Rosemary thing.
Courtney Rush.
Yeah. Apparently they're saying that she doesn't want to do the character anymore, so she's gonna permanently be Courtney
Courtney
Rush.
Rush. So the whole thing a few years ago with Rosemary was she's a hive mind. So there's 7 different personalities, and Courtney Rush, which is who she is, really is one of the personalities. But you're right, the character of Rosemary has gotten stale. The whole it works better as a tag team, to be honest. Now, they both have the same type of gimmick. They still now, before, you had this goth demonic type of creature with this spray painted whatever jungle juice she was, right?
But they needed to get off that, I think, because they keep feuding with
the Coven,
the
a
Coven, and
mystical
they're dark, so they
and
can't
mystical.
have both of them be dark.
Yeah,
So now it's like a heavy metal group and like a goth group.
yeah, which
I
is
don't
fine.
know.
I'm fine with that. And Courtney Rush, as a different character, she also changed her move set. She has
Yeah,
a completely new move set, which is
good.
good too. It
It's
freshens
fancy.
her up. Yeah, freshens her up. So it's good. The belts were not on the line though, which was surprising.
Well, yeah, it's a pre-show. You're not going to put the belts on the line.
Yeah, but Death Dolls do go over. Courtney Rush actually gets the pin on this one. She with the sharpshooter, out of all things. So there is a title match probably in the works.
Let it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with this being on the undercard. It doesn't take up, you know what I mean? But it's fun to watch. And like I said, by changing the Rosemary character back to Courtney Rush, it freshens it up a little bit. So next we go into the Impact Digital Media Championship of Joe Henry versus Dirty Dango. The story building up to this, they're saying that Joe Henry was attacked from backstage, and they were trying to pin it on Santino, but it was Dango that attacked him backstage. So we're getting
Even though we just went through a whole storyline where the three of them were all best friends, and like it doesn't make it. This is terrible storytelling.
But a heel Dango is good.
Yes, heel Dango is great.
So I've always liked heel Dango. So it was another quick match, pre-show match. It's what you expect, right? So as Joe Henry retains, then Dirty Dango was going to do a beatdown. Santino comes to defend him, I guess.
Yeah.
You think this is going to lead to a tag match, or we're going to get a Dango Santino maybe? Either
Honestly,
way,
I don't know. It's too confusing. It's
a
probably
useless championship. It's a useless championship.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a tag match, or they're going to let Dirty Dango win this, and then Joe Hendry's going to move on to actually important things.
Yeah, maybe they can. I wouldn't mind. You know what? Let Dango win this. Move Joe Henry and have him face Trey Miguel.
Yeah. Okay.
Should he win tonight? But yeah, next we go into the main show. Nick Aldous versus Kenny King. Nick Aldous is so good.
Yeah, Nick Aldous is really good. But the match was kind of boring.
Yes, but what I liked was they didn't put Aldous into the main event picture immediately. They're making him work his way up,
which is smart.
Yeah,
as
I like that kind. Yeah, and I like that kind of booking. It's good booking, and it was a decent opener. He calls himself the National Treasure, and it was an opening match, and it was a good opening match. It wasn't anything to
it wasn't a bad match. It just
it lacked a little action.
Yeah.
But I think, as you got to also remember, Aldous has been away from wrestling for 6 months.
Yeah, and Kenny King is just like the guy they put in matches when they need to make a match. Him and Rich Swann are both of those guys. We need to have a match. Just put this guy in the match.
Yeah. And Nick Aldis goes over, which, as he should. You shouldn't make Aldis lose right away. That's why I didn't like the them, like what they like the Cody Rhodes situation, right? They bring him into the main event and he loses, right? Nick Aldis is in the main event. He's not in the main event yet, so he has to build his way. He has to work. And I like that booking a little bit better. So with that, we go into our next match, which is a 6-man tag match. Rich Swann, Sami Callihan, and the returning Jake Crist against the design of Diener, Angels, and Khan.
Crist is really good.
Yeah, did you see he was bleeding from the ear at one point?
I had no idea who he even was. I've never even heard
Crist?
of this person. Yeah.
For those longtime Impact fans, there was Jake and Dave Crist. They were with Sami Callihan. They were a group called OVE, Ohio versus Everybody, because they're all from like Columbus or something.
Well, that explains a lot.
Yeah. That's why the crowd kind of popped a little bit for Crist, but he's really good, and I'm glad he's back with the company.
Yeah, he was good in this match. I have trouble caring about anything Sami Callihan does. He's such an indie wrestler. This was such an indie match. Like nothing about it felt professional. Their acting was all horrible.
Rich Swann was the only one really that kind of.
But then you throw him in this mix with them, and he doesn't fix anything, right? It's like this was one of the matches of watching all this wrestling this weekend that we really had trouble giving a crap about this match.
Because this didn't mean anything. If you go back and watch our Night of Champions review from yesterday, every match there was meaningful. It meant something. Like this one had 10 matches on the card. WWE had 7, but 7. I'd rather have 7 meaningful matches than a couple matches that I don't give a crap about.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wish WWE would do that for their big pay-per-views.
Yes. And then AEW just does like 19 matches on their big shows.
Good luck staying awake.
Yeah, I'm not staying awake tonight. So next we go into Trinity's. It's not even her debut. This is their second match in Impact, and it's against Giselle Shaw. It was fine.
You know what? I'm starting to have this opinion that I feel like Giselle Shaw's really underrated.
She is.
Because
absolutely she is.
If you see this, okay, so she was in a feud with Purrazzo.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, she was in the feud with oh my god. Irrelevant. Okay, but
yeah.
And I kept thinking, oh, she's just being carried by these other wrestlers.
It was Taylor. I think she was in Taylor Wilde, wasn't it?
Was it Taylor Wilde?
Maybe.
Anyways, and I was like, oh, she's being carried by these other wrestlers. Trinity has been talked about nonstop in my workplace by people about how bad she is and how bad she's going to be on Impact and how bad she's looked. This match, first of all, was pretty good.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to think, is Giselle Shaw the common denominator in all these good matches?
But then again, Shaw versus Purrazzo was fantastic.
Yeah, but Purrazzo's already good, right? So only adding her only elevates the match. But like this match was not bad.
I mean, Trinity's not bad. Trinity's come a long way from her beginning. Because originally she didn't even start out as a wrestler. She started off just as a valet. Yeah. And she moved into wrestling. And then you also got to remember, she's also married to Jimmy Uso, one of the best tag team wrestlers out there right now.
Yeah, so the second best tag team wrestler on his tag team.
Yes, but still, the Usos are one of the best.
This is my issue that I have with her that I noticed right away. Her moveset is that of like everything she does is so technical, like, and has such a small margin of error. Mm-hmm. There's such like awkward moves or like really big high flying or whatever type moves where it only takes one small thing to screw it up. So it's like she's asking for botches when she does her moveset.
I think it's because of the fact that she was originally a dancer and she's trying to incorporate her dance into like, you know what I mean?
A lot of it is like high single leg neck takedowns. Like all you have to do is miss by 1 centimeter and you botch the move. You know what I mean? Like,
so there's like you said, it's a small margin for error, and the fact margin for error, and the fact that she doesn't botch that often, just, she's not as bad as everyone says she is. She's not, on the level of like an Oscar or Bianca Belair, but I mean,
no, she's fine. She's a good mid-card female wrestler, and I think this is a good feud right now. This was a good match. It was good.
Yeah.
I cared more about this match than knowing the storyline than I did about the Sami Callihan match.
I think because of the fact that, like the Aldous match, they're trying to build up Trinity to that main event level.
Yeah. And same idea. The Aldous match, it's like, every time I watch Kenny King, it's in a class with like Burt Macklin FBI
Yeah.
and like a few other guys in Impact where they're like Eddie Edwards, where they pick
Yeah.
them to do a match, and it's like, I don't care about this guy. Stop putting him on pay-per-views.
Like Moose.
You know? Yeah, like Moose. Like, I don't hate Kenny King. He's probably the best of all those people I just named, but it's like, I don't care about him and Nick Aldis because we know what's going to happen. Nick Aldis is going to win. There wasn't that much of a big things happening in this match.
It's
Then
like
you
when
got
they
the
put
Sami
somebody in a
Callihan
feud
match.
with
Who
Baron Corbin.
cares? Yeah,
It's
exactly. It's like, why am I watching Rick Boogs on this
Yeah.
thing? You know, you get it.
Yeah, I get it. Trinity wins by submission as like, I mean, even so, this wasn't her first match. I wouldn't have mind Trinity losing and
Yeah,
give her something to fight for. But I mean,
I
this was
agree.
still good. And Giselle Shaw, the loss doesn't hurt her. You know what I mean?
It doesn't, because she's like an enhancement talent at this point.
Yeah. And
You could put her into any
the
feud at
thing
any
is,
level.
and the thing is too, because she's married to Scott D'Amore, it's not like, you know, it's not like Carmella where they shoehorn her into everything because she's married to Corey Graves. You know what I mean?
It doesn't feel that. We thought it felt that way, but now after watching the matches, it doesn't. Because
No.
she's not used as like we're gonna give her the title type of thing. No,
No,
she's
she's
as
there
like, I'm
to
gonna
make
create
the
a
other.
feud,
Yeah.
and let's do this.
And especially Giselle Shaw training under Gail Kim.
Yeah.
She can learn so much from there.
And also, she's a great heel.
Yeah.
She's a scumbag.
Yeah. We missed before the Rich Swann match. We had that Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
That was
I really
fun.
wish that match was on here.
And I said, give me this match, please.
Yeah, like they had a match, we missed it.
Yeah, it was on Impact, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But the feud is continuing. There was that spot where she threw her over the barricade. Like,
yeah. I'm very excited.
Yeah. So I'm hoping we get a rematch of that one. You know, have it for the number one contendership for Deanna, for whoever the women's champion.
Because we'll get to that later.
Yeah. So next we have ABC, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, Impact Tag Team Champions against Subculture, returning Mark Andrews, Flash Morgan Webster with Danny Luna at ringside. I forgot that these guys were an NXT UK tag team.
I don't know who these guys are. Nor
but it was
do
a fun
I
match.
care.
But it was fun.
Listen, I went into this match. I was like, oh no, this is Impact again, doing what they do. You're giving us a main event match with a tag team or a person that we know is not going to lose the title. It's going to be a shit match. But like in the beginning, I was so out of it. But halfway into this match, this is when I locked in and I started really enjoying this pay-per-view.
Show.
From this point on, I was like completely locked in. I had no phone in my hand, nothing. I was just watching wrestling. And it got really, really good.
There was that crazy spot by Webster where he goes to the top of the turnbuckle and he does the plancha over the like that was like, so you had a few good high flying, like especially with these four types of wrestlers. They're all quick, kind of cruiserweight style wrestling, and sometimes you need that in your tag team division. You can't just have the big heavyweights always in your tag. And I kind of like the way the tag team division is shaping up in Impact. I wouldn't mind seeing another match with these guys.
I would watch it.
You know, and
I'll watch Subculture anytime now. I think they were very good.
Yeah, they were very British style wrestling.
Yeah, it was very Rev Pro.
Yeah, and I don't mind that. It's very reminiscent of some of Will Ospreay stuff.
Yeah.
Or some of you know, who else is from that group of like United Empire, like
what's his face? The guy that was in the thing with the big black hair guy, Dan Maloney.
Dan Maloney, right? That type of like, you know, Jack, but Dan Maloney kind of reminds me more like a Tony Nese type of character.
I think he's better than Tony Nese.
Oh yeah,
and I like Tony Nese.
Tune in tomorrow for our recap of the Super Juniors, where we'll put a little shine on Dan Maloney.
Tune into Fab, who really likes Tony Nese.
Yes, kind of looks like Tony Nese.
Hey, shout out to Tony Nese.
Well, shout out to Fab because he and Roman Reigns have the exact same birthday.
Well, that's a coincidence.
It is. They look the same too, right?
Yeah. Roman Reigns doesn't even look like Roman Reigns anymore. We looked it up yesterday and it's insane. It's like a completely different person. He had so much plastic surgery on his face.
He is the meme of Giga Chad.
Yes, he's literally Giga Chad.
He is Giga Chad. So yeah, but I mean, this was fun. I enjoyed this match. And unlike the WWE show that we reviewed yesterday, the matches started off fast paced too. They didn't start off slow. So 18-minute matches don't feel like 18 minutes.
Hey, you know what? I'm not going to complain about Japanese booking. All right.
Yeah. But, ABC retained. We did get a few near falls where you kind of maybe thought it was going to happen, but that's good booking then, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, it sets up a feud. That's what they do. This is the thing.
yeah. So this hopefully continues. Next we go Trey Miguel defending the Impact X Division Championship against a legend of the X Division. Even though I'm disappointed they broke up MC Motor City Machine Guns. It's Chris Sabin, an 8-time champion, the most reigns, longest reigning, longest total reign of, and it was a really good match.
It progressively kept getting better. Trey Miguel's so good.
Yeah.
I just wish he didn't sound how he sounds. No offense.
Yeah, he sounds like a bit of a loser.
He just has like a dweeby sounding.
Yeah, like a whiny little kid.
Yeah, and it's like it doesn't match the character. But yeah, he's really good, man. And
yeah,
Chris is a boss. So
yeah, it was that typical classic. If you watched Impact in the early year, like when AJ and Joe and all those guys had matches and Low Key for the X, it was very reminiscent of that. Like,
yeah, it's like a cruiserweight division. It felt like WCW cruiserweight matches.
And Trey Miguel retains through nefarious means. Trey Miguel uses the spray paint in Chris Sabin's eyes.
The finish upset me because it was so telegraphed. Like they faked a ref bump just to do a ref bump, and then you knew right away that Trey Miguel was going to do something dirty. The crowd started booing because they knew what was happening.
Yeah, the Roman Reigns style booking.
Yeah, and it's just like.
But I think we're going to get a rematch, and I think they may put Sabin on as champion one last time before he retires.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be at Slammiversary too, so that's good.
So that's a good thing. Which leads into our next match, which I think might happen, is we have Moose versus Eddie Edwards versus Jonathan Gresham versus Yuya Uemura versus Alex Shelley versus Frankie Kazarian in a 6-way match to determine the number 1 contender to face the Impact World Heavyweight Champion at the end on the next show.
Am I the only person that wants 2 things? Number 1 is
Jonathan Gresham.
It's Frankie Kazarian versus Nick Aldous versus Matt Cardona. Somehow make that happen, and then also to watch Omos versus Moose versus Omos versus Moose versus Omos versus Moose. You know what? They used Moose so properly in this. They kicked the shit out of his leg until he was useless and just took him out of the ring.
They ganged up on him, which I enjoyed. It was not the typical 4 guys are resting on the outside of the ring and 2 guys are in the. They were like back and forth. Everybody was
the pre-match promo for this was great when Moose said. At one point, I was considered the greatest world champion in all of wrestling. I was like, no, you weren't.
You weren't. You thought you were. But...
Maybe you thought you were. I don't know who said that, but they're an idiot.
Was Vince McMahon talking to him or something?
Yeah, exactly. He's
God
like Vince McMahon's dream child.
Yeah.
Dumb as a board and can kind of wrestle.
And is like completely jacked and huge.
They played this so smart. Kick him in the knees, kick him in the knees, get him out. Uemura's great.
Yeah, it was good to see him get a little shine tonight.
He deserves better than this, though. I understand, it's kind of like, oh, he's getting a shot at the title, kind of, but it's like,
but they've done that. They've done that with other wrestlers who have been on excursion before. They did it with Sonata.
Yeah,
when Sonata was on,
remember what they did with Okada? Okada.
Yes.
Yes. So we're not going to give them.
But
too much
they
credit.
did give Sonata a run with the X Division Championship. They gave Ishimori a run with the X Division Championship.
Yeah, that's fair. But in fairness to the situation, Okada was not
was not the Okada. Yeah,
he was not projected to be what he is now. Where Ishimori and Sonata are Kenta both Sonata.
Yeah,
we're both like these guys are going to be good at some point. Like Ishimori's a monster.
Yeah,
an absolute monster.
We'll talk about him tomorrow night.
But yeah, it's fine. I like it. It feels like a cop out. I like the ending though. I like the way the story played out. And good.
Yeah. Good. Congratulations to Alex Shelley.
Burt Macklin FBI is probably not going to be the champion for much longer.
This is my theory. I think on the next show, we are getting a rematch with Trey Miguel and Alex Shelley, and both of them at the end of the show will walk away as champions.
And then he's going to cash in the X Division champion to face for the World Championship. That's excellent storytelling. Thank you, Impact.
Yeah, Impact. Thank you for this. Thank you. And this is like,
and if this doesn't happen, I'm never watching again.
But you don't need to break up the team for this. This could be a mutual respect type of match too.
Yeah,
you
like
know what
a
I mean?
Japanese match.
Yeah,
where it's just like, hey, it's this tournament. Sorry, we got to fight.
Yeah, like what happened in.
You're not going to not fight for the title.
Yeah, I have an opportunity here, right? So, but yeah, it was fantastic booking. Great way to end it. I still feel bad. Gresham needs some type of shine.
Yeah. This is my point, though. Like, yes, I understand you put Gresham in this match and you put Uemura in this match with a
veteran like Kazarian.
With the idea, but Kazarian can take this L.
Yeah,
you put these guys in here with the idea that they're having a shot at the title, and it's like you should be happy for this. But then when they lose this match, to me as a wrestling fan, I feel like they've lost momentum now. They haven't gained momentum from this match.
Yeah, who did take the pin in this one? Was it Moose? Moose took the pin.
Yeah, that's why he was there for sure.
Yeah, Moose was there to take the pin. Exactly. So next we go into I would call it a co-main event.
By the way, that match was really good.
It was. This card was pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that.
I still wouldn't go as far as we'll talk about our score at the end of the show. But next we go into our co-main event. This was a last chance match. Jordynne Grace, if she lost this match, she can no longer challenge Deonna Purrazzo as long as she is champion. Which I like these stipulations.
I think this is the smartest thing I've ever heard from a wrestling company, and it's insane that it's not being done. Like, as long as that person's champion, you can't challenge again.
And that's what they did with Brock.
Mind-blowing. Smart. Okay, but I knew once I heard that stipulation that going into this match, there's no way they're going to let Jordynne Grace win because they want to knock her down the card, let her have a break, and then come back and build herself back up to the top again. Either that or her contract's expiring.
Oh, can you imagine Jordynne Grace jumping ship, Asuka?
But I don't think she will because Jonathan Gresham is now there.
Yeah, that's true. And she won't go to AEW because Gresham has beef with AEW.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see both of them go to WWE, only if they go together.
Yeah.
But I digress. We get into this match. Deonna Purrazzo wins, obviously.
Yeah. But the best technical women's wrestler out there right now, I think.
Yeah, it's so crazy. You see, like they're like showing their signature moves, and her moves are like Jordynne Grace is the Grace driver and like a suplex, a back suplex.
Yeah.
Hers is like a 59-72, 29-50 arm bar. And you're like, what the hell? I don't remember what it was, but
it's more technical. But what I enjoyed was the fact that Jordynne Grace was able to keep up with Purrazzo technically at some points.
Well, she's a good wrestler. Let's not pretend that Jordynne Grace can't wrestle.
And the fact that Purrazzo was matching some of her power moves too, because Purrazzo is tough.
Strong.
Yeah, Purrazzo's tough and strong.
She's also not small. Like Jordynne Grace is very muscular and strong, but she's also a small woman.
Yeah, I think she's like 5'2" or 5'3". Purrazzo's like 5'6", 5'7".
Yeah,
isn't she?
And she also has a thicker frame than the average.
Actually, no, Purrazzo's only 5'3".
Okay, but she's still taller than Jordynne Grace.
Yeah,
she's wider than Jordynne Grace, and has a good weight to her. She's not like a stick.
Yeah.
So it's a good matchup for Jordynne Grace.
Yeah.
Masha Samovich has a similar frame build to that too, where they're a lot like bigger.
Yeah. Same thing with Killer Kelly. Kelly's a bit taller.
Kelly's pretty muscular.
Muscular,
though.
Yeah.
More like Jordynne Grace style, but she's a bit taller.
Yeah. But and this was a great match. The fact that Jordynne Grace was able to kick out a Queen's Gambit already, like very few people are able to kick out of that
also
move.
Didn't Deonna kick out of a Grace driver?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't she the first person to ever kick out of a Grace
driver? That's exactly true.
Okay, I wanted to make sure I heard that correctly.
Yeah, so it's like you get a lot of, and that tells a great story. But I think the fact that she kicked out of the Queen's Gambit means a little bit more because you get that little sense of hope that, hey, she was able to kick out of the finisher. Maybe she's actually able to win this match. Like, it's better storytelling. It's not telegraphed like, okay, Purrazzo's going to win. You know what I mean? Like, we knew Peraza was going to win, but this gave you that false sense of hope, which I like, and it kept me entertained. It kept me like, oh shit, are they going to do it? Are they going to do it? Kind of like the way they did with the Bianca and Asuka match.
Yeah.
Except this one was great from beginning to end, and Bianca and Asuka kind of had to
Well,
build up
Bianca
to it.
and Asuka was a good match. It's just it gets frustrating to just see Bianca just do the same things every time.
Yeah.
But like we said, there's clearly a plan for growth for her coming, which is smart.
Yeah. So Jordan Grace loses. Deonna Purrazzo retains. Do you think it's going to be the winner of Slamovich versus Killer Kelly, or do you think they're going to go the Trinity route?
Slamovich versus Kelly for the championship, and then that's going to lead back to a feud with Slamovich or Kelly for the championship again.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no, it's going to want the winner of this is going to start it because, like, Kelly deserves it more than anyone.
Yeah, so does Slamovich, though.
No, but that's not named Masha Slamovich. Masha Slamovich should be the champion.
Yeah.
Should be the champion. She is the men's heavyweight wrestler.
She is the men's heavyweight champion in GCW.
She's one of the best, if not the best, female wrestler in all of wrestling right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry, Julia. I'm sorry.
This, in terms of North America, this is the best women's roster on this side of the Pacific.
And even if you don't think it's the best women's roster, it's the best utilized women's roster.
Yeah, they know exactly where each piece fits and how to use them. Absolutely. So with that, we are going to our main event. It's a no disqualification match for the Impact World Heavyweight Champion, Burt Macklin FBI against PCO.
Okay, well, I love
Impact
PCO.
Impact knows how to do hardcore.
Impact knows how
their
to
audience
take two wrestlers who, like, not disrespectful to an all-time legend, okay, but who don't have a wide range of things they could do anymore,
like a big skill set,
and make it seem like this is the craziest match we've ever seen in our lives.
I saw stuff I've never seen before in this match.
Macklin was bleeding like crazy. It was spraying out of his head. Like literally spraying out of his head.
It was a combination of blading and hard way.
Yeah. I think he went to blade and didn't realize he had got cut from the thing and made it so much worse.
Or he cut too deep.
Yeah, because his was massive. It was like open on his head. Also that on top of that,
PCO stapled it shut for him.
Yeah. PCO.
Oh my God.
Got his whole face stapled. His mouth was stapled closed, and he pulled the staples out with a pair of pliers.
I was literally cringing at that. Like, it's like, oh my God.
He's such a boss, man. The match starts with them both going flying over the top rope.
At
like,
60 years old. Like,
yeah,
and
he's 60 years old. He's also quite tall. I believe he's like 6'4".
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's heavy.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like...
Yeah, he's 300 pounds. He's 6'1".
Yeah, so he's like a large man. I would not want to fight this man.
No. Even at 55, I don't want to fight this.
And he's wearing those big heel boots to give him extra height to make the character stand, which must be hard when he's jumping over the ropes trying to land on his feet.
Yeah. And
he took a back suplex onto the stairs where he fully hit the stairs with his back, and it looked like it hurt. Like,
he did a moonsault, not a moonsault, but a 450 onto cinder blocks.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that.
Onto cinder blocks.
Yes, he did.
There was the spot where they put the patio stones on his back, and Burt Macklin hits it with the sledgehammer and shatters them.
Yeah, and it was no AEW breakaway.
No,
brick.
They showed
those were real bricks because they did not break. They didn't even crack when he landed on them.
And the fact that they zoomed in on PCO removing the staples with the pliers.
Oh, they knew what they were doing, man. Listen, is this a technically good match? No. Is this a way better match than we desered from this match?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Anything with Burt Macklin should be a shit show, and it was not. And I'll never call him by his real name. But
shout out to Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec.
But this was like fine. I was like, wow, thank you.
Yeah, it was a good
At
main
one
event.
point,
And
when he first started bleeding, I was like, I'm not even
yeah,
joking.
yeah,
I've never had that feeling ever from watching
I was
wrestling. I was like,
okay with the
"Ugh."
bleeding. It was the staples on the mouth.
That's funny that didn't bother me. It was like watching him lean over the apron and just watching it like spray out of his head. I was like, what the hell is he's gonna
yeah,
die. I'm like, he's gonna die.
from blood loss. Like and
He
the fact
definitely
that
had to get hospitalized after.
I think they both did. I think they both
Oh,
did.
okay, well, I'll allow it.
But it was like it was like I said, this is how you do a no disqualification match. This is how you do it. If this were WWE, you get a couple kendo sticks, maybe a stop sign, a garbage
Someone would
can,
get cut, they'd cut away for 10 minutes, patch the guy up, put him back
and a
in the
cookie
match.
sheet.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was a fun match, and I enjoyed the show. Like,
Hey, he
I
took
mean,
a cookie sheet from over the top rope. Okay.
yes,
So that
yes.
was a huge shot.
So it was still a fantastic show. I don't think it was near what Rebellion was, because
No.
Rebellion was fantastic.
And Rebellion, just in case anyone didn't know, is like some of the highest
Quality
pay-per-view buys that they've done in years. So
Yeah.
that just shows that, like, and that was in my top 5 pay-per-views
And
of
that's
the year.
post too. Like, they're still buying it to now to
Yeah.
go back and watch it. Like, it's
Like,
still
and I'm
doing...
telling you, if you have not seen Rebellion, in my opinion, it's top 5 pay-per-views of the year
Yeah.
right now.
So with that out of the way, what would you rate the show?
7.5.
I'm right there with you. I gave it a 7.6.
Yeah, I think it was a good show. It's not a great show, but it's completely entertaining and
Yeah.
it's worth your watch. Like, genuinely, if you went by straight up quality, it's probably a 7. But I think because just the overall way they utilize the main events, I think it deserves a higher score because it's slightly elevated because of that.
And it kept me entertained.
Yeah,
That's all I ask. Keep me entertained.
If you just walked into this, especially with the Killer Kelly situation where it kind of caught you off guard, you weren't expecting, you're like, what's happening? Between the intro, what are they called, the pre-show,
Yeah,
and then the first 3 matches here, you'd be like, oh, this is going to be a shit pay-per-view.
but right after that,
And those matches weren't bad.
No.
But you could just, it felt like it was a lead up to like nothing was coming, and then it started getting really good. So shout out.
It's basically like New Japan. They give you those 4, 5, 8-man tag matches, and then they give you the good stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, if you're willing to, but those 8-man tag matches sometimes suck. These matches weren't like garbage.
No,
it wasn't all there.
They didn't hold
Sami
my
Callihan
interest.
match had some moments, but overall it wasn't a very good match.
No, that would probably be my worst match of the night.
Yeah, I would say that's the worst match of the
Even
night.
though it wasn't a bad match, that was still, like, you know what I mean?
That's worst match of the night, and I would say best match of the night was the X Division.
Yeah.
I want to give it to Burt Macklin,
but I can't.
But I can't.
Yeah. I would kind of give honorable mention to Perazo and Grace.
Yeah, I would give honorable mention to the main event as well. I think that was a good match.
It deserved it, yeah.
You don't often get to witness ECW in its glory. Shout out to Sabu, who's back tonight. We're filming on Sunday.
Yes.
You know what? When his music hit, I was like, yeah, I'm in. Even though he looks like he's dead. But hey, shout out to Sabu.
Sabu died 5 years ago. They just forgot to tell him.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Taz is like, I was at that man's funeral. I digress.
I digress.
Sorry.
So no worries. With that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time. Goodbye and good night.